Welcome to Weaving New Paths, Conversations with Visionaries. I'm your host, Grandmother Sharon Raji Maynard. Each week, we sit with individuals who followed a calling, who turned idea into healing, creativity, and change. Their stories remind us that every dream matters. You matter. And that new pathways are being woven every day. Thank you for joining us. Let's step into today's conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Weaving New Paths. My guest today is Emily Waugh. Now, Emily is marching, as you can see. She is a mover and a shaker, and she's here to tell us about some whispers that she had and how she listened, she followed, and in doing so, she's created a new path for all of us to follow, and in literally a pathway. So welcome to Weaving New Paths, Emily. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Sharon.
So first of all, tell us where you are walking. Where are you today?
Yeah, right now I am on the Katy Trail in Missouri, and I will get to Jefferson City by the end of the day today.
And today is the August 5th. On August 5th, 6th, you're going to be in Jefferson City. I know you and Monty were looking for maybe a place to have a little conversation. At least Monty was. Do you know if she found that?
I don't know. We got a lead on a theater that might be open to hosting her, but I'm not sure if we've made positive contact there yet. So I think that's still a work in progress.
Okay, so I'll keep checking in. We'll have that in addition to the podcast. So tell us a little bit about you. You're one of the younger ones. Thank goodness. Tell us just a little bit about you first.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Emily Waugh, and I am a 40-year-old stay-at-home mom. I have two kids. My kids are 6 and 14, and I'm a longtime political junkie, I call myself. I kind of always paying attention to the workings of the United States politics, and a community activist. But like I said, stay-at-home mom. And I just reached a point with my anger at the state of our politics back in February that I couldn't stand still anymore. I had to do something different. I had to do something that felt like it was as big as the moment that we were in. So I had the urge to walk out my front door and not stop until I got to DC. I told my husband I was going to pull a Forrest Gump. But I dismissed that idea pretty quickly as being practical as a stay-at-home mom, but landed on this idea of a relay. And so that's how the Women's Walk Across America was born, was an idea I couldn't let go of.
So where is your home? Because it's not Missouri.
No, it sure is not. Yeah, I live in Oregon. I live just south of Portland. Apologies for fiddling with my earbuds. They keep wanting to wiggle their way out as I'm talking. But I live in Milwaukee, Oregon, which is the first suburb south of Portland on the east side of the river.
Right. Beautiful area. So you couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
And you're a stay-at-home mom. You have you have two young. I mean, you have a teenager, but she's young. She needs you to have a 6-year-old, and yet you're walking across America.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That's the situation. Like I said, so I had this idea, right? Like I'm gonna walk out my front door and I'm not gonna stop until I get to DC. And then I dismissed that immediately as like, well, of course I can't do that. And then the next thought that came to me was how angry that made me, that because of capitalism and patriarchy, that all of us would feel like we couldn't do something like that. Like we couldn't deviate from the norms of our life because the results would be catastrophic, essentially, right? That none of us can afford to turn away from the sort of daily churn of our lives in order to pay attention to the reality and react to the realities that we're living in as a country. And that
Hmm.
made me angry, this idea that I can't. Um, and so then I just thought, well, now I have to. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a very important thing that you just said, Emily, is that when the ideas that come up often take us outside of a box.
Hmm.
And then the box comes up, especially us as women. We have lived in so many boxes that this culture,
Hmm.
I call it toxic patriarchy, toxic masculinity, has created to
Hmm.
keep us boxed. Now, there's a
Hmm.
whole story about that. And so for you then to be angry that you first reaction was, I can't do it because I'm
Yeah.
a stay-at-home mom. And
Yeah.
so that was, but it didn't stop you. That anger didn't stop you. It took you to a different kind of clarity. Where did it take you?
Well, like I said, I knew that I wasn't going to be the only woman that felt that way, right? That like I had this conversation early with my 14-year-old. Drake uses he, they pronouns, and I was talking to them, um, and they didn't want me to do this. They were scared. They
Mm-hmm.
said that they were worried about, my physical safety out on the road, but also the potential negative attention that it could bring to me and to our family. And I had to admit to them that I was scared too. But the thing that scared me more is that if we all make that personal calculation around keeping ourselves safe, then none of us will stand up and do the things that need to be done to fight back, you know? And then where will we find ourselves? It scares me more to think that we will all just draw inward and go to, trying to protect our little personal bubble until all of a sudden we realize that like the framework of our lives has collapsed and now we can't keep our bubble safe anymore either. You know, it's like we're clinging to this idea of of safety and normalcy that can't exist if the structures of our society are falling apart. But while those structures are falling apart, we want to cling to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And it scared me that's what all of us would do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to push back against that and to step out in my fear. Um, and yeah, so that's what I did.
So how are your children doing with this? Because you're on the path. You started in February. The
Yeah,
idea came in February.
so again, just to be really clear so that everybody understands, because right now I'm walking alone. And so I think people could get the idea that I've done a lot of this alone. And I haven't. I have walked almost 800 miles now, but I haven't done the whole thing. We've covered over 2,000 miles collectively. So I have gotten to go home. I've been able to go home for 3 or 4 days here or there. My longest stretch home was close to 2 weeks, which was really, really nice in early July. Um, they're doing okay. It definitely is hard. We're fortunate to have a village, that is really helping my in-laws, my parents, um, have really stepped up to try to help make this possible for us in terms of childcare. My husband is a pilot, and so he is by nature away a lot.
Yes.
So it's been really tricky. But I think the kids at first actually were maybe somewhat indifferent to my absence because they got all this extra Nana time. And Nana time means, all sorts of fun
Fun
things
stuff.
that, yeah, exactly. So at first, I think they were kind of like, bye, mom. Um, but it's wearing on them a little bit now, especially the 6-year-old. I had a conversation with her the other day that was pretty hard on me because she was, like, why though, mom? Why do you have to be there? Why can't you come home? And Um, it's been challenging, but I'm grateful for the support that we have, and she's definitely well cared for and well loved. And thank goodness for technology too. She and I, and
Absolutely.
we read books together still on FaceTime, and you know, I'm we do our best to be as connected as possible. It's been hard.
So, what's the core of the walk? If you were to say what's the core of the walk, what is it you're holding strong integrity to?
Yeah, I mean, it's at its core a protest walk against the attacks on women's rights. Um, but it's also about building community. It's also about, you know, connecting like-minded women across the country to get together to burn off some of our rage and our grief and to just be in community with each other, to encourage each other, to know that we're not alone. So yeah, it's a two-parter. It's trying to send a message to DC that we're not going to just stand by as they continue to dismantle our rights and our democracy, but also, a community builder and a connector for those of us that are feeling the way that I was feeling, that sense of helplessness and hopelessness, being in community with others feeling that way, has been really, really good for me. So on a selfish level, um, that part has been, I'm losing my words here, but that's been really meaningful.
During the 60s, the women stood up, burned bras, and were angry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been doing energy work, spiritual work. What are the seeds that have been planted eons ago that are now manifesting in lives over and over and
Hmm.
over again? And saying no to the pattern is like you're saying no to these patterns. You're saying no to the escalating and the growing. And and
Hmm.
and I'm looking at where did it come from? So I'm going after the seeds, I'm going after the codes. And you're standing up and saying no more, no more, no more. And I'm going after the seeds so it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And in the 60s, and I was not aware enough to be part of the protest in the 60s. I was very much into patriarchal systems. But what I heard later is many of those women in their counseling sessions, because you need help, were told to
Hmm.
stay angry, because if they didn't stay angry, they would they would fall back into doormats. And I can tell you, in my work, I know why that is, and I know that was true. It's like we
Yeah.
didn't get to our authority. And what you are doing in this day and time with energy that's different, I can tell you, energy is different than in the 60s foundationally. That when
Hmm.
one of the stepping up points of a woman who's awake is anger. You're
Yeah.
awake, you're angry. And what we're able to do this time is not go back to doormat, because you could have gone back to doormat. You didn't go back to doormat. You went, I'm the authority of my life. What do I need to do? And then how do I make it happen? And so
Yeah.
going from anger to clarity, and the clarity is I, as a woman, uh, I am an authority. And I have the voice of authority to say to this government or this relationship or this company, I won't be involved here. I
Yeah.
will not be treated this way. So this is a very, very big opportunity that you are creating, because this is a path not just for you, but it's a path for all women. And in that, it is a path for not male toxicity, but for male of heart to say, I'll support you. I don't know how you're gonna do
Hmm.
it. I will support you. And it's a whole different energy that your march, your walk represents. And I just wanted to make that visible, you know.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, you know, I have kind of two things that I want to share with you based on that. One is, this other way for men to show up, like you were saying, in support. My
Yes.
husband has been incredible throughout all of this. And in the very beginning, when I was yapping about the idea, I got
Mhm.
the idea and I couldn't let it go. And I was just talking about what it could look like. He's very used to letting me talk because
Good.
I'm diagnosed ADHD. I always have big ideas. And then typically you know, I sort of burn off my steam or whatever, and then I move on to the next thing. And so he lets me talk. And then
Mhm.
there's a point at which okay, so you know, um, and so after a few days of that level of him just listening and asking questions and whatever, but basically just listening. After a few days, there was this moment. I looked at him across the bed as we were making the bed in the morning, and I said, "Are you serious? Can I
Mhm.
go do this thing?"
Mhm.
And he said, "Babe, it is a big and crazy idea, but this is a big and crazy moment. And if this is how you want to meet it, I've got your back."
That's the man. That is the attitude of our soul brothers. I call them soul brothers. They
Oh,
are.
yeah.
They come from their heart, find that spark, and what do you need me to do? You got me to dig the post? I'll put in the fence. What do you need me to do? They hear the vision that the woman has. And I'm going to support you and love that story. Thank you.
Yeah. And he really has. He's been so supportive. I mean, it's been a lot. He's always been a very um, equal participant in our marriage and our household and our family, our raising of our kids. Um, but now he's doing everything that he has always done and everything that I typically do,
Mm.
So he's 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 exhausted and it's been stressful, but he hasn't wavered in his support. He's
Yeah.
continues to encourage and tell me he's got my back. I am going to choose to stop walking here for a minute and set my
Okay.
phone down because my arms are burning holding my phone up to be at the right angle. So
I wondered how long
yeah,
that would
I
take.
kept I kept switching and I was like, oh, okay, this is hurting. I can't keep doing this. So there's a bridge here now, which is offering me a perfect
Oh,
ledge.
yeah. That's
So
great. That's great.
yeah. The other thing I wanted to say is you were talking about, the women in the 60s being told to hold on to their anger. That's one of the messages that I would really love to have some part in helping to get across to my sisters,
Huh?
the fellow women, um, is that our anger is righteous,
It is.
right? Like, if you're not angry right now,
Mhm.
like that's a you problem, actually.
Mhm.
Like, I've had so many people who are uncomfortable with me branding this around my anger and my rage, like putting that sort of messaging out there in the front. They would rather it be a peace walk, it be and I just keep saying no. First of
Mhm.
all, like women are constantly told that we're the more emotional of the species, the more emotional gender, but we're not allowed to be angry. As soon as we're angry, we're crazy, we're mad, we're, you know, any number of derogatory things. But men get to access and use anger constantly and don't ever get accused of being emotional in their anger. Their
Mhm.
anger is somehow passion, and ours is insanity.
Mhm.
When the reality is that we're the ones living under the systems of oppression, like our anger is righteous.
Mhm.
Like we should be angry right now. If you're watching what's happening with the Epstein files and you're not angry, like what is actually wrong with you? Like, how is it that you're not angry? And you should never feel ashamed of that. Like, of course, you should be angry. That is the appropriate response to learning that we're living in a country that's been harboring a ring of pedophiles for decades. Anger is the appropriate response. And I'm not
Yes.
going to try to dim that down.
Mm-mm.
Women are dying because of lack of access to abortion care. They're dying in cars outside the hospital. I'm not going to stop being angry about that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not somehow more feminine or more, you know, pious of me to turn that into to sadness or concern or what. Anger is appropriate. We
Yeah.
should get angry and allow that anger to activate us to demand something better. We can't just keep shoving that piece back down.
In my work, the gift and assignment that a woman had is that authority voice. And the authority voice was to be able to feel, is this a form that's going to bless and help those I love? Or is it a form that's going to cripple them?
Mm-hmm.
And we have forms in our world that expand and encourage and make, and that's what they do. That's because their seeds are that. But if you
Mm-hmm.
have the seeds of corruption and violence and power over, their forms are going to cause you to feel that energy of destruction. And
Mm-hmm.
it's the woman's job to be discerning. And I can tell this energy makes me happy. I can dance and sing. I want more of it. And I want more of
Mm-hmm.
it for my family.
Mm-hmm.
This energy constricts, blames, separates. I am angry. I
Mm-hmm.
will not allow that to remain. And that's what's been ripped away from us women. The right
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to say that is destructive. It will not stay in my world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It will not stay in my world. And so we've been called emotional because our voices have not been respected when we
Yep.
say no, whether that's in a domestic relationship or in a country. Our
Mm-hmm.
voices should be heard. This is good, let's do more. This is destroying, stop it. And
Yep.
that's ending. It's ending. And and
I
and
really do think it is.
yeah. And so your walk came from exactly what a woman is all about. This makes me angry. And because it makes me angry, I'm going to say no. In whatever
Mm-hmm.
way, I'm guided to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And your way right now is to offer a walk for others who say, no, no, not going to have that. Nope, uh-uh.
Yeah.
And then the camaraderie that happens, the reconnection of women to women to women to women
Mm-hmm.
in that voice that says, no. See, government, we're
Mm-hmm.
saying no.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very big thing you're doing. And
Thank you.
inviting others too. You're
Yeah.
inviting others to it. Tell us about that. You talked about a relay. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, I really do think that it's more powerful if we do this collectively. I don't, you know, if I were to
Mhm.
have done it by myself, maybe there's some headlines. But what is it? One cranky woman walked across the country. Like, it's not it's not impactful. It's not likely to shift anything. But if at the end of this, thousands of us have participated, maybe
Mhm.
even tens of thousands of us have participated, that's a message,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
That like you said, collectively as women, we are getting to a place of saying, no more. We're not doing this anymore. That you must respect our voice. Or we will not continue to participate in these systems as they exist, that are causing all of this damage and harm. So yeah, it is a relay. Um, Basically, you can participate for as little or as much as you want. We've had sections that have been one person on the route at a time, like I am right now, but we've had stretches where we've had three people walking together or eight people walking together. As we move through more populated areas, some people come walk with us just for a few miles. When we were in Denver, for instance, we had one day where just for about 3 miles, we had like 30 people, which was
Nice.
fantastic.
Fun. Fun.
And we're calling on people to do more of that. So
Mhm.
um, as we go through our major relay cities, we're hitting the capitals of the states we're going through, um, and then some of the other major cities in each state as well. And so as we hit those major relay points, we're asking people to just come join us for whatever amount they can. So there's kind of two ways to participate. You can either sign up to be what I call like a lead walker, a long distance walker, someone who does essentially what I'm doing right now and says, I've got the next 3 days, 5 days, whatever, and really sort of carries the baton and allows for other long distance walkers to take a break.
Hmm.
Um, or you can come in alongside a long distance walker for a short period of time, come keep them company for a couple of miles an afternoon. Um, so those are the two ways to participate, really.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's lots of ways to get involved. We need volunteer drivers and host homes and all kinds of things. So even if you can't walk, there's ways to be involved too. But if you wanted to participate in the relay itself to come walk, there's sort of like version A and B.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
you have a website so that people can see where you are along the way,
Hmm.
so they know
Yes.
where you
So
are and where you're going.
we are womenswalkacrossamerica.com, and it can be really difficult to keep things updated in sort of real time because I often am away from cell service and
Mhm.
just physically exhausted at the end of the day. So sometimes there's a little bit of a delay there, like a couple of days delay, but we do keep it updated um, on the website. And then we're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky, which we are not perfect about posting to those either, but that is another place to get updates. We're getting a little bit better about it, I think. I'm trying to find my rhythm with posting more
Yeah.
consistently, but um,
Do you
all
have
of those places.
uh, maybe do you have a media gang? That can that anybody who likes to do media who can kind of help put a plan together so it can be updated, not just with you always doing it.
Yeah.
I know how
Yeah,
that
I've
goes.
got a couple of people that are helping me with that, but they're both busy professionals,
Mhm.
so their capacity for doing a ton of it is also somewhat limited, so between us, we're cobbling it together right now, but if there's anybody out there that thinks that that's the way that they would want to help,
Yeah,
let us
like
know.
volunteer. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think what for me, any project, whether it's a personal life, a healing situation, or like yours, this event, um,
Hmm.
be, the clarity about what it is you're about. That's why I ask, what is that
Hmm.
core? What is it that you have integrity to? And so that others who are drawn to that type of integrity, that's who you want.
Hmm.
Is you maintaining that integrity of the purpose of this this walk. Uh,
Yeah.
and like you said, anger is a part of it. Anger doesn't have to go to blame. It can go to clarity. It can go to
Hmm.
change.
Hmm. There's plenty of people to blame though too.
Yeah, but
There's
you know
there's
what?
systems and
That's
like.
but when like when you have a whistleblower and say there's something
Hmm.
there are those of
Hmm.
us who can take on that work. How do we
Hmm.
dismantle it?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we dismantle it? Because we don't want to just keep saying it's there, it's there, it's there. We've got to have those also who can dismantle it as you
Yeah.
continue to march. Because at the end of the day, what we want and are holding for, and this is me, and you can say that you may agree or not, but I think you would, what we are doing this for is for a government and in a world that is different than it is today. That is
Yes.
that is
Absolutely.
as that is committed to the good for all life, not just
Hmm.
humanity, also Gaia. So we
Yeah.
want these major changes in order to have that. These systems that we can point to have to be dismantled. And
Absolutely.
as they're dismantled, we have to also be able to support, encourage, and kind of hothouse the new growth, the new phoenixes. It's like
Hmm.
that's the time we're in, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
people can find you.
yes. Instagram, Facebook, Women's Walk Across America, womenswalkacrossamerica.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, so are you taking a break tomorrow, or when's your next break?
I walk tomorrow, for most of the day tomorrow, and then Friday morning I get to be done for a couple of weeks, which is going to be fantastic. So
Oh
Monty
yeah.
is coming and taking it for about a week, and then there's a few other women that are each going to come for a couple of days, which is giving me a little bit of a break. So yeah,
And I
really
would
grateful
imagine
for that.
Monty's also on Substack, so I would imagine people on in her Substack are going to be hearing a little bit about as she walks, because she'll be a
Yes,
lead walker. Yeah, yeah.
she will be a lead walker. She intends to post from the route while she's walking. Yeah, so
Mhm.
hopefully we get a few more eyeballs on what we're doing and
Yeah.
can get some more people to come walk with us.
And then tell us the end result. Where are you going to be? What's the end plan?
Yeah, so we're headed to DC. We will get to DC on November 8th. Um, we hope to basically have a rally in DC, but we want our primary goal is just to have the largest group of people that we can walking that final approach into DC.
Into
So the,
DC. Mm.
the final approach is from November 5th to November 8th from Baltimore to DC. So anybody that wants to, come participate in that section, we would love, love, love to have them. Really encourage people to do that. We want that to be as big as possible, and really even just to focus on the 8th itself. If all you can do is
Mhm.
fly into DC and walk a couple of miles into DC,
On
that would
the
be
8th.
amazing.
Yeah.
On the 8th. Yep. Um, we're getting there after the midterm elections, so we will either be there to celebrate or to massively protest,
We're holding my
depending
group.
on how.
My group. We're holding the celebrate. We're holding the celebrate with you and
Yeah,
with the country.
yeah,
So
yeah. But we'll be encouraging people along the way to make sure that people are getting out to vote, in the weeks
yes.
leading up. But
Okay.
we will be getting there. So election day this year is November 3rd. So we'll be getting there the Sunday after election day.
That. And anyone and start sharing, and the more people who know about your coming, what you're going to be doing, where you're going to end up,
Hmm.
the better. So this is a really good
Yeah.
time to start collaborating by getting the word out in ways that maybe you didn't even know there was a word to get out, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you
I mean,
know.
if you look at the route map on the website and you see a city that you have people in, friends or family that live there, like,
Mhm.
please let them know that we're coming. Reach out to anybody that you think might be interested in participating in hosting us in their home, in anything. Like, all of that is massively helpful. And
Groups,
hmm
friend
yep,
groups. Got it.
absolutely.
Okay, Emily. Hey, thank you so much for your time. It's great.
Thank you for having me,
It's
Sharon.
great to have some, and I'll probably want to have another chat with you down the road away. So
Okay.
not for 2 weeks, but you're on it. Monty will be keeping us informed. We'll get this out to our people. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank you too. And so women and men, pay attention to those whispers. Pay attention to the anger, and don't let the anger overflow you into powerlessness. No, the anger says, no, this is the way we're going. This is the direction. Blessings. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.
And to our valued listeners, thank you for being with us here in the sacred space of sovereignty, inquiry, and inspiration. As you explore our guests' work, may you also feel the quiet stirring of your own gift, asking to come alive. The world is shifting, and your unique thread of weaving is essential in that great tapestry. If this conversation nourished you, inspired you, pass it along to others who are seeking hope, direction, and also dreaming a new world into being. We invite you back for the next episode of Weaving New Paths, where together we will continue opening the doors to new ways of seeing, being, and collaborating. Until then, blessings.